YouTube Red, or what's commonly known as YouTube Premium nowadays, is a subscription released around 2015 that allows its members to watch videos and listen to music on the platform without being disturbed by advertisements. But alongside ad-free music and videos, the subscription would also showcase original series that featured YouTubers. If for some reason you have no idea what I am talking about, remember around 2017 when popular YouTubers were coming out with their shows like MatPat and Liza Koshy? That's what I am talking about. Around that time, I wanted to get a subscription so I could watch Liza On Demand specifically, but my mom was not about to pay for it, so I had to stick with Netflix and Hulu. But she got it years later, so it's cool now. But after having access to no advertisements for years now, I miraculously rediscovered YouTube Originals one day and remembered the feud of people not wanting to get the subscription because of its price, viewers in certain countries were not able to get it, and also how people disliked the shows. It seemed that no one was interested in these shows or hated them for reasons unbeknownst to me. So I decided to watch a few YouTube Originals to determine if they were truly that bad. Oh, and for those who don't know me, hi. My name is May, and I just talk about things I like. Since YouTube Originals have been around for about 5 years now, I wanted to find some shows that feature different YouTubers with series of various genres. In this video, I will cover Good Game, Liza On Demand, Secret Saboteurs, and In Space with Markiplier. Since I will be covering 4 series, I will have to summarize episodes and highlight my thoughts based on what I have seen. Some things may seem out of context, so I recommend watching these shows yourself, but that's if you desire. With that being said, let us start with Good Game. Good Game is a show that is featured on the Game Grumps channel. Game Grumps is a Let's Play improv comedy show that premiered in July 2012. The show's hosts are Aaron Hansen, formerly known as Egoraptor, and Dan Avedon, most commonly known as the vocalist of the musical comedy duo Ninja Sex Party. As of the making of this video, the channel currently stands at over 5 million subscribers. Their series, Good Game, premiered on the channel on August 30th and ran up until September 27th, 2017, with a total of 6 episodes. A short series with a lot to cover. The series follows Ryland, a pessimistic and sarcastic old MOBA player played by Aaron, and Alex, Ryland's roommate and naive optimist played by Dan, as they form an esports team. So episode 1 was the setting stage for the series. Alex convinces Ryland to enter in an esports tournament to win $1 million, but they couldn't do this alone. As the coach for the team, Alex managed to find 3 other individuals and convince them to join. Sam, an aspiring tennis player, Kamal, a teenage gamer troll, Lorenzo, Ryland and Alex's landlord who is not a skillful player and also funds the team, and Ash, a gamer turned into an esports host. Together, they formed a team Esports People. The group enters their first tournament, but another team, Lucid Nightmare, coached by Ryland's adversary, Steven, which isn't his name, but I will call him that just because, are also playing in this tournament. After Steven brings up Ryland's old and embarrassing past, Esports People challenge Lucid Nightmare. Towards the end of the episode, Esports People start to trend online. Episode 2 was a head-scratcher. In this episode, the team attempts to solve racism, misogyny, and homophobia while Ash tries to solve Alex's doormat issue. At the start of this episode, we see how horrible Kamal's actions are towards his teammates and other players on Killcore. At that point, it does not seem he is remorseful of his actions, but as soon as he is insulted by Sam with a low-key racist comment, he is offended and leaves practice early. So the team tries their best to solve this issue in different ways, like banning words. To sum up the rest of the episode, Alex steps in and addresses the problem to an extent. Kamal has a bit of character development, and he's aware of his actions, but not yet remorseful. Episode 3 focuses on Sam's character. So Sam is very competitive and loves a challenge. When things are too easy, she tends to get bored and goes towards something more difficult. In this case, playing Killcore was just too easy for Sam, so she turns back to her tennis dreams. The team grew concerned and decided that the best way to bring her back was to make their practice extremely difficult for her. which worked until she got hospitalized from all of the overworking and stress. But in the end, Sam reassures the team that she wants to stay and keep playing with them. Within episode 4, the team hosts a live gaming stream that features every teammate's perspective at Lorenzo's house in hopes of gaining more recognition and support. On the other hand, Alex feels guilty for lying to Lorenzo and using his money to fund the team. And by Alex telling him the truth that he can't play Killcore correctly, he crushes Lorenzo's spear for a split second, and the team comes to realize that new fans have come to love Lorenzo and the team by watching his stream. In episode 5, the team aims to qualify for Blood Match. During this, Ash feels she is not recognized as a talented player. After a night of drinking with her friend who tells her about another team consisting of all women, Ash decides to check them out and hangs out with them for the day. The team offers Ash an opportunity of a lifetime, but it results in her leaving esports people during the qualifying game. But in the end, Ash chose to stick with her team and plays their qualifying game. The group wins and can compete in Blood Match. Episode 6 shortly follows. The team plays the first day of Blood Match and is invited to a party by the creator himself. The characters go to the party and this is where conflict takes place. Later in the episode, Ryland stumbles upon the mysterious creator of Killcore, Jesse. And let me talk about him real quick to emphasize his character. So during the credits of episodes 1 through 5, you get mini episodes dedicated to Jesse and his feelings towards his creation. In the first minisode, Jesse is talking to his realtor about the purchase of the mansion where the party takes place. It turns out the realtor is a mother and her son plays Killcore, but she is unhappy that he plays the video game too much and blames Jesse for the reason why her son won't become successful. This makes Jesse start to think about how his game negatively impacted others' lives. He doesn't want people to surround their lives with his game, let alone for money. He then comes up with an idea to host a party to end all parties, which I assume means that he was shutting the game down after Blood Match. Back to episode 6. So shortly after this talk, Ryland and Alex have their first fight due to Ryland's suspicions of Alex after seeing him talk to Steven. The next day is the final day for Blood Match and Alex is nowhere to be seen. Angrily, Ryland decides to leave the team for good and drive home, but not before Alex appears out of nowhere and heartfully convinces him to stay and compete. Back at Blood Match, esports people will face Lucid Nightmare and win. Although in the end the team did not win the last round or the $1 million, they were a close second. The series ends on a cliffhanger with the creator of Killcore being attacked by an unknown person. After a brief explanation of all of the episodes, let's start with what I did like about the series. First, the show does appeal to me because it is a character-driven story. I love stories that focus on the development of their characters and how they interact with the people around them. Even though the show's plot surrounds the characters playing Killcore, each character got a chance to shine in each episode. Episode 2 focuses on Kamal, episode 3 focused on Sam, the next episode focused on Lorenzo, episode 5 focuses on Ash, and in my opinion, episodes 1 and 6 highlight our main characters, Ryland and Alex. The show also has an interesting plot with a good grasp of what it wants to be. In some aspects, it reminds me of my favorite anime of all time, Free Iwatobi Swim Club. But of course, the two are extremely different. Mainly because one doesn't use swimming metaphors in every conversation. And lastly, I did find a lot of the jokes humorous, whether it was a joke being told or something random I thought was funny. Even though there are a lot of things I liked about Good Game, there are also some things I was not particularly fond of, but mostly these are just pet peeves of mine. As I said before, in episode 2, the team attempts to solve racism, homophobia, and misogyny within the episode. But one thing that stuck out to me was how Ryland handled this situation. You're going to hear me picking on Ryland for a bit, so bear with me. So Ryland goes and finds Kamal, and the two talk about what happened. Ryland practically tells Kamal, and I am just paraphrasing here, "We can't be honest with the team and tell them how we feel, so just say nothing." And that was not the best answer. Especially because the start of the matter was because Kamal called Lorenzo a homophobic slur, which then caused Sam to defend him by throwing an insult back. Another episode that slightly covers these issues is episode 4. During the live stream, Ryland checks out Sam's live and is horrified at the comments. Needless to say, Sam was the target of racism and misogyny. Of course, Rylan brings it up to Sam and she tells him to just ignore it. But later in that episode, Rylan did not listen. He decides to stand up for Sam by replying to the comments, but this ends up adding more fuel to the fire. Although this was annoying to me, I did understand Rylan's perspective, but I don't respect it. When Sam confronts him on the matter, Rylan explains that he has respect for his friend and feels that he should defend her honor. My problem is not the sentiment, it's the fact that he didn't listen to the said friend he wanted to protect. And his second excuse for the matter was that he was woke. At least in this situation, I can say he tried. Now this next point is not a pet peeve, but rather something I felt was missing within the series. The show tackles good topics, but I feel it is brushed over to favor comedy and not really addressed or solved. This is fine, but I would have loved it if the show had dived deep into these topics while utilizing Alex in a serious manner. For example, towards the end of episode 2, after Alex instructs the team to start practicing, I would have loved it if he pulled Kamal to the side and personally talked to him about his actions and how Kamal can hurt someone with his words. A joke can be thrown into the mix to keep in touch with Alex's personality, but this serious side of Alex can highlight how much he cares about his team and how he wants them to get along. And that's only a summary of an idea. But how I view Good Game overall is that it's an incomplete project. In 2018, it was announced by Michelle Murrow, who plays Ash, that the show was cancelled due to low viewership, which sucks because Good Game is something I would love to see more of. Season 1 concluded where the story had just begun for the characters, mainly because of its major cliffhanger, which frustrated the crap out of me. I believe a second season could have given the characters more emphasis and growth while also developing the relationships between the characters throughout the series. Plus, it seemed that the story was going to take a new turn and become something more than just people playing video games based on its ending. I am not saying that Good Game is the perfect series, but it was still enjoyable and I have already watched it about 4 times, so it's safe to say I would watch it again. Liza On Demand is a series that featured on Liza Koshy's channel. Liza Koshy got her start on Vine in 2013, and 2 years later in 2015 she would upload her first video on her channel. After the fall of Vine, Liza would continue to upload videos and become an actress with her debut in Tyler Perry's Boo! A Madea Halloween in 2016. As of 2023, Liza has not posted on her channel for a while now but has been featured in many films. Her channel currently has over 17 million subscribers. During her time on YouTube, Liza produced and starred in Liza On Demand, which ran from June 27, 2018 to October 15, 2021 with a total of 25 episodes and 3 seasons. But for time's sake, we will only focus on season 1 in this video. Liza On Demand follows Liza picking up various gigs as she tries to achieve elite status for the app Taskit. Liza also lives with her 2 roommates, Oliver, who works as a realtor, and Harlow, who loves the glam life and owns a show dog named Bark Paul. In the pilot, we are introduced to the characters as well as the main prompt of the show. In this episode, Liza struggles as she handles more tasks than she can chew, from completing a puzzle for a child's project and taking a cat to be put down. As she juggles these jobs, she promises Oliver that she will meet up with him to get cupcakes that are sold for a limited time. While going to get cupcakes later in the episode, Liza brings the cat with her, which she eventually loses. Liza and Oliver search for the cat and finds him before he is taken by a weird cat man. Towards the end of the episode, Liza returns the cat to its owner. In episode 2, Liza worries that she may not be taken seriously or chosen to handle certain jobs due to sexism. After being told to smile by a man, she reaches her final straw and decides to disguise herself as a man. She accepts a moving job in her disguise and is invited to hang out with the other 2 workers to go to the bar. At the bar, Liza spots the catcaller from earlier. She goes to his house and manages to educate him on catcalling and how his actions can seem ignorant. Towards the end of the episode, Liza reflects on her time in disguise but learns to appreciate her womanhood. In the next episode, Liza is invited to go to her high school reunion. Instead of going, she decides to take up a plant-sitting job. She takes the plant to a nearby park and a group of teens offer her some narcotics. After getting high, a school bell rings and Liza realizes she had stumbled upon a high school. She meets a lonely girl named Alyssa and befriends her. Liza poses as a high school student and agrees to meet Alyssa for lunch. But things take a turn when the popular kids take notice of Liza. Because her deep desire was to be popular in high school, she decides to hang with the cool kids and abandons Alyssa. However, when she realizes her mistake, she confesses that she is not a high school student and embarrasses herself in front of everyone. Alyssa is then brought to the spotlight and Liza leaves the high school breakfast club style. Episode 4 starts with Liza taking up a job as a party guest. Amongst attending the party, she realizes that it is centered around politics. She comes to realize that the other workers and herself were meant to be used to pose as supporters for a politician named Clay Coburn and his cause of going back to simpler times, which includes racist and misogynistic ideals. Liza feels used and tries to deny the job and her involvement. Coburn threatens the state of her job if she quits and wants her to stay quiet. On accident, Liza manages to grab dirt on Coburn and exposes him to his supporters. He loses his followers and lets Liza go, as well as getting rid of her involvement. The next episode is a Valentine's Day special. Liza's parents want her to meet up with a family friend's son in hopes of them getting into a relationship. Liza tries to avoid this by reminding her friends of their pre-made plans. After Oliver and Harlow cancel their Valentine's Day plan for their own, Liza goes around town making deliveries for her clients. With each client she talks to, she develops a misunderstanding and tries to fix their problems. When she realizes her mistake, it turns out that the harm she believed to cause did the exact opposite. The episode ends with Liza meeting up with the son of the family friend. The two decide to remain strangers at best, and Liza goes home and hangs out with Oliver and Harlow after their dates fail. Episode 6 surrounds the group preparing for Harlow's birthday. At the beginning of the episode, Liza struggles to figure out what she will be gifting Harlow, as well as balancing her job. She runs into a new neighbor named Beth, and she hires her as a personal assistant. Throughout the episode, Beth slowly but surely copies everything Liza does, including dressing up like her, befriending Oliver and Harlow, and stealing Liza's gift idea. Liza realizes how crazy Beth is and tries to confront the situation, but after her friends ignore her warning, Liza solves her problem by tricking Beth and running her out of town. Oliver and Harlow find the truth about Beth and apologize to Liza towards the end. In episode 7, Liza gets a bad rating from a client for things beyond her control. She later gets hired to be a professional mourner. At the funeral home, she notices that another ceremony is taking place, and it turns out to be the person who gave her a bad review. She takes this as an opportunity to change her rating. She poses herself as a guest at the client's funeral in an attempt to swipe his phone and change her rating. Towards the end of the episode, she is exposed and is stuck with her rating. The last episode starts with Liza, Oliver, and Harlow waking from a drunken celebration due to Liza being one step closer to achieving elite status. The crew realizes they have made many mistakes during their blackout, and Liza has lost her phone. Without her phone, Liza can't complete her last task to achieve elite status. Oliver and Harlow join Liza to retrace their steps to find out what had happened to them that night. The first place the group went to was a food truck, and they find that they ate a very spicy item on the menu. Next, they go to a body piercing shop where they find a missing picture of Liza dancing at the club. They go to the location and meet a choreographer who wants to enlist Liza as one of Lady Gaga's backup dancers. She passes this opportunity, and the group goes to a karaoke place they attended that night. The group then goes to an escape room where they get into a fight. After failing to solve the puzzles in the escape room, they separately go to the bar that they attended the previous night. The group makes up and Liza finds her phone, but it's 2 minutes before her time limit. Her friends pull through and give her the final task. The season ends with Liza unexpectedly achieving platinum status instead of elite status. After watching the first season of Liza On Demand, I will say that I definitely enjoyed it. The show focuses more on the shenanigans surrounding the plot while also giving the main character a goal to stick to. I love how laid back and fun the show is so far, and the humor was good. Personally, my favorite episode has to be episode 3. But I also liked how the show was not afraid to tackle interesting topics. Unlike Good Game, Liza On Demand addressed issues using comedy instead of brushing over it, in my opinion. So it was more engaging for me in that area. Even though I like the characters in the show, I did have some problems with Liza's character. It's not that I don't like her character's personality or find her annoying, it was just her actions in some episodes I wasn't fond of. For example, in episode 7, she invades a funeral to change a rating on a dead man's phone. I think I just felt embarrassed for her the entire episode, but I felt relief when she didn't get what she wanted, which was fair enough. Other than that, season 1 of Liza On Demand was great, and I plan on watching the rest of the series in my downtime. I am honestly curious about how the series ends and would love to see the characters interact more. Secret Saboteurs features on Lauren's channel. LaurenZside is a comedic gameplay channel that started in January 2013. As of the making of this video, Lauren's channel stands at 7 million subscribers. Secret Saboteurs is a reality game show hosted by Lauren that ran from March 14th to March 18th, 2022 with a total of 5 episodes. The contestants are influencers you may have heard of: Brianna, Lorray, Nayela Devora, DT Known, Chris London, Basically I Do Work, Noah Beck, and Aya's Cupquake. The goal for the contestants is to fish out the 3 saboteurs and win money for the pot. If the honest players are sabotaged, the money is taken away from the pot, just like any competition game show. In each episode, there is a challenge and elimination, which I will summarize. For the first challenge in episode 1, the contestants are split into 2 groups. One had to assemble a cart and the other had to complete an obstacle course. The saboteurs successfully sabotaged this challenge. During the elimination, Marcel is voted out and revealed that he is an honest player, though it is revealed to the audience that Brianna is one of the 3 saboteurs. Episode 2's challenge is a bake-off. The players are split into 3 groups of 2s, with Tiffany as the master baker who instructs all the teams. The teams have to bake a dozen cupcakes using the ingredients that are instructed to use. The saboteurs succeed in this game as well. At the elimination, the contestants vote out Lorray, and it is revealed that he is a saboteur, leaving 2 left in the game. In episode 3, the challenge is a bath bomb battleship. The players are put in 2 groups of 3, with each player taking up the role of the spotter, launcher, or rower. The players had to knock out 5 battleships using bath bombs. The honest players succeed in this challenge, but they vote Nayela out during the elimination. Nayela reveals that she is not a saboteur. In the next episode, the challenge is to launch a rocket ship by entering a color pattern code to obtain letters for the secret password. The players have to work together to solve this puzzle. The honest players were able to win another challenge. During the elimination, Noah is voted out and is revealed not to be a saboteur. In the last episode, the 4 players participate in a final challenge, but not before earning an opportunity to gain stars for the Cosmic Climb. Chris was the only player who obtained the star. The 4 players then complete the slippery and messy climb within the 5-minute time limit. With 2 honest players and 2 saboteurs left, the honest players have to vote out the right person. Brianna is voted out and reveals she is a saboteur. The honest players manage to vote out the final saboteur, who is Dante, and wins the $30,000. I actually watched Secret Saboteurs when it came out last year, so revisiting it again was just as surprising as it was the first time. I love watching reality TV shows during my downtime, but usually they are the ones with fabricated drama. Although Secret Saboteurs didn't have the drama aspect, I enjoyed the friendly fire between the contestants. The challenges were fun and easy to do, and not gonna lie, I wanted to do most of them with my friends. The show kept me guessing who the other saboteurs were while keeping me very entertained. And I just want to add that Lauren's outfits were amazing in every episode, and she did a great job as a host. The only thing that bothered me about this whole show was the fact that Brianna's identity was revealed to the audience in the first episode. I wish it was kept secret so that the audience and the players were in the same boat, but at least the other two Saboteurs' identities were kept secret. This could have been fixed with more people involved. Although I love that the contestants are diverse, I do wish that the contestants had more chemistry. 8 people are good for the first season, but I would have loved to see more people in the mix and more episodes so that more friendships and alliances could be established, just adding more for them in the audience. Overall, I loved the energy Secret Saboteurs brought to the table. If a speculated season 2 happens, I know for a fact I will be watching it. And finally, our last YouTube original is featured on Markiplier's channel. In 2012, Mark Fishbach created his YouTube channel called Markiplier, which revolves around Let's Plays. He is most notably known for his Five Nights at Freddy's playthroughs. His channel currently stands at over 35 million subscribers. Over the years, Mark has made many interactive stories such as A Date with Markiplier and A Heist with Markiplier. His recent interactive story, In Space with Markiplier, is a 2-part science fiction story that was released on April 4th of 2022 and May 2nd of the same year. Now, I will say that when it comes to choice-based things, it's best to do it yourself before listening to someone else's experience so that you can compare and contrast. I will be summarizing the story as well as the routes I took to the best of my abilities, but please excuse me because I did this months ago. Alright, so the story starts with you, the captain, arriving on the Invincible 2. You meet Markiplier and he shows you around. As you are being introduced to the area, he shows you the warp core, which is very vital to the story. You meet the rest of the crew, and now everyone on the ship, including the captain, will enter in their cryo chambers to enter a deep sleep before arriving in a new colony. Eventually, the captain is awakened by a strange alarm and is ejected out of their chamber. This is where the viewer starts to realize that everything is going wrong and events are repeating. A paradox is detected and it's up to you to solve it. So I had to do 2 runs with this interactive story because my first time around I goofed off since I didn't know what I was doing, but I actually did pretty well for the first time. The choices I picked led me to the cryo ending. This is where the captain freezes themselves for a long period of time. On another day, I decided to go back and try again, and just to summarize, all I had to do was pick the opposite choices I picked the first time around to get the correct ending for part 1. Which consisted of me doubting myself with every turn because of a character named Mrs. Whitaker. I hate that woman. When it comes to part 2, I just want to brag and say that I didn't have to replay it, since I did amazing. And I remember part 2 a lot more than I did part 1. In part 2, you find yourself at a busy cafe that is filled with bright colors and full of strange people. But in the corner you spot an elder Markiplier. You take a seat with him and he tells you your goal, which is to tell the past Mark to not go back, hinting that the paradox was not because of the captain, but Markiplier. In a way, this is Elder Markiplier's way of trying to fix his mess. Part 2 was a lot more emotional and surreal for me to go through because even though I didn't know what choice would be right or wrong, the goal is to save Mark. But by going through the choices, there were a lot of things I got to see. The first choice I made is where the captain goes back to the ship, but it looks like a mess. Faintly, you hear rustling and someone muttering to themselves, and as you get closer to the voice, you see a disheveled Markiplier frantically throwing papers, screaming at you, and blaming you for the paradox. So after that, the captain continues on to many wormholes with new opportunities to tell Markiplier that he can't go back. During this, I got an 8-bit reality, map pad in space, and 2 musical performances. After the musical performances, the captain finds himself back at the cafe. But it's completely different now. It's no longer busy and filled with bright colors, only shades of blue and the sounds of silence. And you see Elder Markiplier sitting at the same table as he was in the beginning. The captain takes a seat, and Elder Markiplier tells you that he is content with all of this, that he has accepted that he has made a mistake, and no matter how many times we would love to go back and fix things, we can't. And oh boy, that hit a little too close to home. The feeling of regret is something anyone can experience because we all make mistakes, whether they are big or small or things that make us feel like we are terrible human beings. And no matter what choice we make, there are always going to be consequences. And even though it's scary, we have to make choices. After that heartbreaking revelation, you are still given the chance to make things right. It makes it even more powerful. Even though you know that there will be a consequence, you still decide to face that fear and try. In this final battle, Markiplier tries to stop you from, well, stopping him. Even though he blamed you for the paradox, he knows that he was responsible since he is the one who built the warp core in the first place. He activates the warp core, a portal opens, and it starts to suck everything in it. As it is about to close, you grab hold of Markiplier as he begs you to let go so that he can fix things. And you are met with your final choice: to let go and keep the paradox going, or to hold on and stop things once and for all. I chose to stop everything, which also resulted in another emotional moment. Because when you stop him, he just breaks down. He turns to the viewer and says, "Captain, I'm tired." And man, did the waterworks start, because I felt that in too many ways. Towards the end, the paradox is fixed and the ship is about to arrive at the new colony. Everyone is waking from their pods and they're okay, and it's a satisfying achievement. Then Markiplier turns to you and thanks the viewer for not giving up on him. It was such a magnificent ending. I was so proud of myself. So I really want to debrief on this adventure because this is what inspired me to make this video in the first place. In Space with Markiplier was an amazing story for many reasons, starting with the fact that it was interactive. I love story-driven or interactive games, so things like Danganronpa, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, Mystic Messenger, and Detroit Become Human. Just to compare, In Space with Markiplier is not like Life is Strange or Episode Interactive, where you make one choice and it doesn't affect the story but rather how you view it. Which is fine, but I want the juicy details. With, let's say, Detroit Become Human, everything I did mattered. I would suffer a consequence if I did not make the right choice, and that's what I love about In Space with Markiplier. My choices mattered. It had unknown consequences. Because of that pressure, it makes you think twice about your decisions. It practically forces you to stop and think ahead so you don't completely wreck yourself, which was fun. I love that In Space with Markiplier draws you in emotionally. Because of the paradox, it makes you feel disoriented or obligated to fix things, especially when you are made to believe that it is your fault that the paradox is happening. The acting was phenomenal. In my opinion, if I am interested in what a character is saying, their mannerism, and want to see more of that said character, the actor did a great job. The cast did so well, but I have to tip my hat off to Mark because he did such an amazing job. I was truly hypnotized as soon as he hit the screen. I also loved that Markiplier was your buddy throughout the entire story. If there was one person who was going to be behind you, it was him. But because of everyone's devotion to you, the captain, the pressure is 10 times worse. Everyone is looking at you to make the right decision. They are relying on you. Your choice affects everyone. So when the crew was like, "You're gonna choose the right answer, right, Captain?" the pressure was astronomical. And I also want to mention the amazing musical performances I got to experience. The first was "Oh My God, the Captain's Back," performed by Ninja Sex Party, which I enjoyed, but when I got this outcome, I was a bit stressed out since I was literally in the middle of trying to fix things. At least I was granted a smidge of happiness. In my opinion, NSP truly killed this performance. As a musical comedy band that's full of innuendos and obscurity, I feel they were a perfect fit. The song matched the intensity of the paradox while also remaining random, as the song's genre would switch with every glitch. The music was fun and Dan did a great job on vocals. And the second song I got to experience was Space Was So Cool, performed by Markiplier. This song was beautifully done. Immaculate even. The tone of the song is calming but somber, and it really made me feel like I had failed the characters by not being able to fix the paradox. I remember almost crying when I heard it. Markiplier's voice was really enchanting, like, my word. The whole song and the visuals blew my mind. I honestly can't put into words how much this has impressed me. Both songs were amazing, and I am so glad I was able to experience them. In Space with Markiplier was a fun and emotional ride, but there are still many things for me to explore within the story which I cannot wait to discover. It makes me want to try out Markiplier's other interactive stories and discover new things. I honestly can't get enough, and I am glad I got to experience this. After watching these YouTube originals, do I think they are truly that bad? If I am honest, I think they're great, but that's probably because I chose the right ones to watch that fit my preferences. I have absolutely enjoyed my time watching these shows and have fallen in love with them in different ways. YouTube originals allowed viewers to see their favorite content creators in a new format. I personally love seeing influencers doing things slightly different than what we are used to, like panels, interviews, or making cameos in TV shows, which can be interesting to others as well. I believe some of these shows would do a lot better on a streaming service like Netflix, but YouTube provided this opportunity to content creators on a platform that is familiar to them, which is pretty great, although they don't need the title of YouTube Originals to make a show. Overall, this is just my opinion, and I would love to hear your thoughts. Is there a specific YouTube original you loved, or did you not like any? Let me know in the comments below. If you would like to see more content like this, consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel. If you like the art from this video and would also like to see sneak peeks for new videos, you can find them on my Instagram. The link will be in the description. And I just want to quickly thank all of my subscribers who patiently waited for this video to come out and respected the time I needed, and hopefully you guys will continue to do so going forth. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.